Hey dudes, what's going on? Hey, thanks a lot for all your suggestions on our 5 mistakes videos. We're really happy that you enjoy it. We've gotten lots of suggestions over the past couple videos, and a lot of you have asked for shoulders, different shoulder exercises. So what we wanted to do is just do a shoulder mistake video in general. The shoulder is the most mobile joint in the body, and unfortunately, it's also very prone to injury, which is not cool. Having said that, let's go over the 5 mistakes that people commonly make on shoulders and how you can avoid them. Mistake number 1, dudes, focusing too much on the front of the shoulders. There's 3 heads to the shoulders. There's the anterior, there's the lateral, and there's the posterior. With the anterior, it's getting a lot of work throughout the week as a secondary muscle. In bench press, in dips, it's the primary muscle in overhead press. It's easy to overwork the anterior shoulders, even if you may not know you're doing that. Now, with the posterior, they do get work too on back or pull day, but not quite as much as your anterior. And your lateral, for the most part, you really gotta remember to work in general on shoulders day because it doesn't get worked out a lot in general. The problem with overworking the front of your shoulders, the anterior, is that basically what happens is you could end up having pronated shoulders. Just basically think of it as a string. You're pulling everything together like this. And that really is just bad posture. You want to focus on the other heads of the muscles too, so you have that correct posture and you look like a true buff dude. You got that 3D look, not 2D, like a tune.
Hey dudes, Brandon here with mistake number 2, which is gonna be going too heavy. So what you wanna do and what you wanna think about is, let's say you're doing an isolation exercise such as lateral raises, you really wanna try to control the weight as much as you can, because what happens is if you start going too heavy, that's gonna lead into other common mistakes, like using too much momentum or just improper form in general, leading with the hands, trying to get the weight up. So go a little bit lighter, that way you can control the weight and really try to isolate the certain muscle group that you're trying to pinpoint. So moving on to compound exercises, same thing can go with compounds. If you're doing that overhead press, you're going a little bit too heavy, you're gonna start using those legs, push with the legs, and you can't even control it on the way down, you're gonna drop it on the way down. So this is leading into all those other common mistakes. So just go a little bit lighter, that way you can concentrate on proper form and get the full workout and the full benefit of each exercise.
What? Mistake number 3, too much momentum. You want to remember this line, dudes. You control the weight, don't let the weight control you. And that applies for all exercises. Some of the common ones for shoulders are lateral raises, where you'll see people swinging the weight up as opposed to really utilizing their shoulders and lifting with the elbow in order to fully get the benefit of the exercise, or overhead press, where you'll push up using the shoulders and just drop it back down. What you want is slow controlled movement up, slow controlled movement down, so you're utilizing those shoulders throughout the whole exercise. There's the front raises, where you'll see people just swing it up, and what they're doing, they're using too much of their hips, they're using too much of their legs, and they're just using that forward swinging momentum to get the weight up. Once again, you want to concentrate on using the shoulder in order to get the benefit of the lift.
Don't forget the compound exercise, dudes. A lot of guys will step in that gym and hit isolations, isolations, isolations. And this is leading us into mistake number 4, which is not including the big compound exercise that's gonna stress all 3 heads of that deltoid and gain a lot of size and strength in those shoulders. So what you gotta do is step in that gym, make sure you're hitting that overhead press, which is one of our favorite compound exercises for the shoulders, and building those boulder shoulders. Buff dude style.
Mistake number 5, no variety. This one kind of ties in with the first mistake, dudes, where it's overworking the front delt. A lot of times we work out what we can see in the mirror. So that's gonna be chest, it's gonna be arms. A lot of times we forget some of the body parts such as calves, back, and shoulders, being the posterior and lateral, the ones we can't commonly see in the mirror. So you don't want to forget those, dudes, because remember, we want to work all 3 heads of the shoulder, the anterior, the lateral, and the posterior. Some great exercises for the lateral and posterior include lateral raises for the lateral head, bent over laterals for the posterior head, single arm incline lateral raises. And this one's gonna be really good, dudes, because it's a unilateral exercise, and seeing as you're positioned on this bench, you have nowhere to move, so you can't swing. So you can really just focus on isolating the shoulder itself. And face pulls for the posterior delts. This one's gonna hit a little bit of that upper back and traps as well, dudes, but the good thing is with this exercise, you can really load up that weight heavy to really hit those posterior delts hard. All right, dudes, that wraps it up. 5 common shoulder mistakes and how you can fix them. Keep those comments coming, dudes, because they're what fuel these videos. So we will see you next time. Take it easy, dudes.